right. Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson, and let's go in and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight, but before we go in and get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Right now, we have around a good 11 people that have tuned in so far and only 5 likes. So if you are a part of that 6 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. Also, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet either, go on and do so. Right now, we have around 664 subscribers, trying to get to that main goal of 700. So we're getting closer and closer to that. And share with your friends, your family members, acquaintances, or even people that you don't even talk to like that, because it is very important that we go on and get this weather information out, because a major winter storm is looking more possible as we go throughout the next weekend or so. So we're going to talk about that. We are going to go on and talk about that all. What are we going to talk about tonight? What's on tap? Well, obviously, very cold Arctic air mass dominates as we get early into the week, obviously being this week. We also will talk about how it will try to warm up a little bit before we get into this weekend, but then we have that increasing confidence on that significant multi-day winter storm this weekend. And then, as we go into next week, we have to talk about some frigid temperatures that could potentially be, for some, single digits. Yes, for some, potentially, single digits. Now, let's go on and talk about current conditions right now. So, what's currently going on throughout the state of South Carolina? Absolutely nothing. We are nice and dry right now. Nice and dry right now, as we have no precipitation going on right now. But what about the entire United States? Well, obviously for right now, for the most part, you have some snowfall going on in Iowa, over here inside of Illinois, maybe some snowfall going on a bit to the north, going on inside of South Dakota, Nebraska, some rainfall also going on inside of Nebraska, some rainfall even going on down here inside of Texas, some snow also going on up here in the more northern part of New York. And then maybe even some snowfall, even though it might not be hitting the ground, over here inside of North Dakota and Montana. But other than that, though, I mean, look at how dry we are. Over here from the west, over here for the southeast, mid-Atlantic, nice and dry. Now, what's going on right now in terms of our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now actually is relatively on the more clearer side, as there's not really any cloud cover right now going on. Even if we go on and look at our cloud cover for the future, if we go on and push this forward, you can see that we indeed will have some clear skies tonight. There will be some fog potentially possible as we go into like early tomorrow, and maybe even some extra clouds that might try to move its way through. But for the most part, it looks cloudy to start off tomorrow. As we go throughout the day tomorrow, though, as we get around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock p.m., cloud cover moves its way in from the west and the south, trying to move its way up into the state, going all the way to 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I mean, just throughout the entire day, we just stay cloudy, excuse me. And then as we go into Thursday morning here, at around 7 o'clock in the morning, again, relatively cloudy. Looks like we may have a little bit of a little cold front maybe trying to move through as we go into Thursday. We'll take a look at that. But even as you go all the way through Thursday as well, cloud cover will be the more dominant factor. Current temperatures right now, we have around a good 37 in Somerville, 40 inside of Charleston, 42 in Beaufort, 45 inside of Hilton Head Island. We also do have around a good 38 in Georgetown, 39 Murrells Inlet and Myrtle Beach, as well as 34 in Conway, 38 inside of North Myrtle Beach, and 35 in Florence, 34 Hartsville, and 33 in Bennettsville, 35 in Lugoff, and 35 in Columbia, 37 in Aiken, and even around a good 34 in Newberry, 35 in Greenwood, and 32 in Anderson, 33 Clemson, 32 in Greenville, Spartanburg, 30 Gaffney, York, and 29 in Rock Hill. Now, what's going on in terms of your air quality right now? Air quality, there's a little bit of a little mild area in the yellow over there near Florence and down near I-95, down towards some other lower areas as well. But, that's nothing too much to really be concerned about. Just a little bit inside of the moderate category, like I said, but nothing really too bad. Nothing really too bad. Low temperatures for tonight. You have around a good 22 in Spartanburg, 23 in Greenville, 23 also inside of Anderson, and 23 in Greenwood, 21 Newberry, and 22 also inside of Winsboro, 21 in Columbia and Camden, even 23 in Aiken, 23 Orangeburg, and 22 also inside of Kingstree, 23 inside of Florence, 33 Myrtle Beach, 29 in Georgetown, and 27 in Moncks Corner, 27 in Walterboro, 36 in Charleston, and 41 in Hilton Head Island. High temperatures for tomorrow, 50 Greenville as well as 50 inside of Spartanburg, 50 in Rock Hill as well as 52 in Greenwood and Newberry, 55 in Columbia and 55 in Aiken, 56 in Orangeburg and 55 in Sumter, 57 also inside of Kingstree, Georgetown, and 55 in Myrtle Beach, 58 Moncks Corner, 59 in Charleston, and 59 in Walterboro, Hilton Head Island. Rainfall as we go throughout the next 24 hours, not expected at this time. Not really expected at this time as we go throughout the next 24 hours. So it seems like right now we are going to be dry to start off for this time frame. But that will change. That will 100% change. But for right now, like I said, dry for the next 24-ish hours. Crazy score for tonight. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. And right now, we're just going to talk about tonight. And for tonight, we are at a 39. Why are we at a 39? Well, number one, we will have those extremely low actual temperatures. I mean, we just saw temperatures down in the 20s for our lows tonight. Make sure that you bring any pets inside, plants inside, snow or ice that you might get. But we cannot forget about these tonight. As, it's going to be another cold night with temperatures down to the 20s. And so that will, like I said, make sure you bring your pets inside. Make sure you bring your plants inside of the garage. Make sure if you have to drip any pipes or if you have to go on and drain them or even open up kitchen cabinets to go and get the heats down towards them, that you go on and do so, because that is something that you should be making progress towards doing for tonight. Also, maximum radiational cooling, completely clear skies. Also, winds dropping to very calm and even extremely low humidity. And then even as we move into widespread frost is expected by morning. Cars, grass, rooftops, exposed surfaces, all of that definitely is still possible. And then there's going to be just no wind chill. So I think that also adds it to it as well. No cold weather advisory, anything like that. SPC outlook for tonight. No thunderstorms are expected tonight, tomorrow, or on Thursday. So we are good here in terms of our weather, in terms of our thunderstorms for the next 3 days or so. No excessive rainfall, no fire weather, nothing like that. So we're good there. And so let's go and look at the models. So we're going to start off with the short-term models first. Then we're going to move on to the long-term. But first, like I said, short-term first. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. Make sure that you go in and pay attention to the time in the top right corner of your screen, because that's also very important to go in and look at. If you go in and push this forward, you can see that we stay dry all the way throughout tomorrow morning. We're nice and dry, not looking at anything. We go into tomorrow evening, nice and dry. No rainfall here is expected until we get to around 12 o'clock in the morning-ish on Thursday. Now, Thursday, we have some rainfall that may be trying to trickle its way in from the west in the border area from South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, that tri-state border right there. And if you go on and push it forward, you can see some showers moving into the upstate 2 o'clock in the morning over to 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. You have some rainfall moving in through there. We go all the way to around 5 o'clock, all the way to 7 o'clock in the morning. We have some rainfall moving in to the upstate, moving in also into the Midland inside the PD area as well, into around like 11 o'clock in the morning. Even at 12 o'clock p.m., noon here, we still have some rainfall moving its way in. Then we go into the evening hours, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Rainfall starting to die down, but now moving into like the Midlands, now moving inside of like the PD areas, maybe even over there inside of the Grand Strand area a little bit as well. And then that's as far as we can go out here. But this is 7 o'clock p.m. on Thursday, and it shows still a good amount of rainfall as you go throughout this area. Now, if we go on and look at precipitation, shows a good amount, but mainly, like I said, up here inside of the upstate. As you go right here, 7 p.m. on January the 22nd is where this ends at, and it shows around a good half an inch, maybe a little bit more than that, in terms of rainfall. So I think that there definitely is a good amount of rainfall that can occur from this system. And if you remember what our drought looked like, I was actually very shocked when I saw this. But obviously, the entire state of South Carolina is in a drought right now. Everybody, if you live inside the state, you are inside of a drought right now, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. So D1 being a moderate drought, D2 being a severe drought. And right now, that severe drought's from the upstate all the way down into the western low country and the southern Midlands as well. But that's pretty much all that I wanted to say in terms of the convection. I do also want to go and look at the dew points real quick, just to see our temperatures and our dew points, as it looks like that we could have some cold air maybe trying to move its way through as we move into Thursday. So maybe a little front trying to move its way through as we go into Thursday. I said that was definitely a possibility. If I go on and look at over here, and we go into the forecast maps, and I go into the short range real quick, move over to the NDFD, move you all over here. There we go. And then we go all the way into Wednesday, when I'm going into Thursday. And you can see the cold front right there, right behind it. And then kind of turn into almost like a stationary front as you go all the way through. But it tries to move its way through. And as it gets towards the Appalachian Mountains, it just almost turns stationary at that point. But definitely something to watch for there. But that's pretty much all that I can see here in terms of the short-term future. What about the long-term future? So this is what most people were looking at right now in terms for our snowfall. So I do want to go and look at the GFS first. We always usually go and look at the GFS first. And so you start off and, we go into the 23rd. You see some rainfall going on, but nothing too crazy. Then as you get into the 24th right here, which the 24th, if I'm not mistaken, is Saturday. So this is early Saturday morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. You see some rainfall up there inside the upstate. And then as soon as you hit 7 a.m. on Saturday, you're starting to see some sleet up here inside of the upstate. Now, like I said, even though it is 90 hours out, and, we're really starting to get into that closer portion of it, I'll go on and, tell you exactly what I'm looking at in terms of it rather being 1 to 3 days out, 5 to 7 days out, anything like that. But if we continue to push this forward, you can see 1 o'clock p.m. right here. You have a huge amount of sleet going on over here inside of the upstate, inside the Midlands, inside of the PD, the Grand Strand area. You have some ice going on under it, and then under that you even have some rainfall going on in the low country, and then even to the south, you're not getting anything. But that, like I said, that will change. But look at that little bubble down there inside of the low country that you can see. Still hasn't gotten anything until around 7 a.m. on Sunday. Now that is, and you start to receive some ice there. Then that will continue its way through, and then you start to see some snowfall starting to go into the upstate right here around 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning here on January the 26th, and then that will move its way down into the coastal areas, and then it will turn on to rainfall and move out of here. So a lot of questions, may be asked, but one of the main questions is probably what are the totals looking like? How much rainfall are we expecting to see? How much snowfall? How much freezing rain? How much sleet are we going to see? That's pretty much just a mixture, but how much of that are we going to see? And so, if we want to look at the total snowfall accumulations, for the most part, take this with a grain of salt. But it shows a good 20 inches of snow up there inside of the upstate. Yes, I'm not joking with you. That says 25 inches right there on your screen. That says 2 feet on your screen up there in the far upstate. That says 17 in Columbia. That says 4 inside of the low country. That says 12 over there near Florence, near Conway, near even up there inside of 22 near Gaffney, near Spartanburg, near Greenville. That's there. You see that on your screen. You're not hallucinating that. But what do I always say during this time? models can change. Please do not take this as this is 100% going to happen, because it probably will not happen like this 100%. And so we're just going to have to continue, like I say, over and over and over again, to watch this, to continue to see what happens. And I do think that this most likely might take a little bit of a downtrend, though. But I mean, if we go all the way into the 12Z, 12Z had a lot less totals than that. The 6Z had maybe around the same. But even if you go into the 0Z from last night, going into like this morning, still less totals. But you see that consistent snowfall rates of up to close to a foot or more of snow. And so we're seeing consistencies. We're all seeing this together. We are all seeing consistencies here with snowfall, and how you could see potentially like a good 20, 25 inches of snowfall throughout the next 162 hours or so. So this would be a pretty good snowstorm right there if we were to get one. But not only do we have to look out for the snow, though, you have to look out for the ice as well. So let's go on and check out what the GFS has in terms for ice, which I'm pretty sure I already had it. If we go over here, over to the forecast loop, move back over into the southeast, moving back over into the total freezing rain QPF. So here we go right here, total freezing rain totals. This is from the GFS right here. If you want to push this forward, for the most part, it says that, around a good amount of ice definitely is possible. I mean, you see around a good 0.7 inches over here near Augusta, 0.36 in Columbia, 0.54 inside of Sumter over there, 0.41 in Florence, 0.25, quarter of an inch of ice in Charleston, close to an inch of ice in Myrtle Beach. So these things are all things that we're going to have to look out for, because not only for the snow, but also the ice. And it looks like right now that the ice is going to be more prominent on that southern side, not really too much in the northern side. Like we saw most of the snowfall going on up here inside of the upstate, but we see more of the ice going on down here inside of the southern part. And usually that would make sense, top parts usually get the snowfall. Then you go into the middle part, that's the sleet. The bottom part, gets the freezing rain, and the really bottom part gets the just rainfall. And so this is just the GFS. What does the Euro say, though? Well, if we go back, we can go on and actually check out what the Euro model has to say. If we start off here and we just push our way forward even more, we just continue to see this snowfall and this ice right here. But the European and the GFS do disagree on one thing, and that is this is mainly going to be an ice threat for the entire state for the most part, or at least trying to get to the entire state. You can see a lot of the upstate getting that ice. You see a lot of the Midlands getting that ice, but look down there in the low country, just rainfall. And so this is definitely a scenario that could happen as well. We may not get anything. We might just get some freezing rain down there inside the or just some rainfall inside of the low country. The GFS definitely is the more higher, more explosive scenario. But the Euro just shows a bunch of ice for a good amount of us. Even if you go into the 12Z as well, we can go back a run. Shows ice for now a lot more to the area, and then kind of just ends off at around like 7 o'clock in the morning on the 26th, being, Monday. So that would drop a lot of ice. So right now, it looks like that most models are saying that. We can even go to the CMC as well. The CMC shows a lot of rainfall, a good amount of freezing rain, but seems like rainfall near the coastal areas. And then the Icon being the last one. The Icon, I'm not quite sure if the Icon shows a lot. No, it doesn't show freezing rain or sleet or anything like that, but some of this green that you see on the map could definitely be sleet, could definitely be freezing rain, but it only shows snow and rain. That's about it. So if we go in and look at the Euro's totals now, in terms of snowfall from it, not that, there we go. move my way back over here. If we move over and just transition over towards the Euro right here, we're gonna look at the total snowfall, and it heavily favors the upstate, and that's not really just because of the system just mainly being snowfall for the upstate, but just because of before that main ice storm happens after the snowfall moves in. So this is not really just going to be really during the main time frame that we're talking about this weekend. This may happen like early weekend. We get like it said like snowfall over here inside of the upstate, but then it just turns to ice right after. Not like how the GFS was saying, to where one part of the state will be getting snow, one part will be getting sleet, one part will be getting ice. It says everybody will be getting ice, but you may get some snowfall beforehand. And then in terms of freezing rain, it doesn't show freezing rain, but I honestly think that it probably will be more. In fact, I saw a model earlier saying that, or somebody posted earlier, that the Euro said that it had on a good 2 to 3 inches of ice, which would be devastating if that was to occur. 2 to 3 inches of ice. I mean, just for example, if I was to go in and look up and see what would 3 inches of ice do, if I go on and just check it out, widespread power outages. 3 inches, is enough to snap lines and collapse wooden utility poles. Tree destruction, branches start breaking with as little, as a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. At 3 inches, entire trees can uproot, shatter. Roof stress, ice weighs about 57 pounds per cubic foot. 3 inches across a roof can add thousands of pounds. And just of risking that structural failure, especially on flat roofs as well. Roads become completely undrivable. Cars can get encased as well. Doors could freeze shut. Windows could crack. Windshields can break under the weight of that ice on it. And so that's all just possibilities. I'm not saying that that's a forecast and that that's going to happen. Um, like like people say, don't be scared, be prepared for it. But this is definitely something that we're gonna have to still keep that eye on. And like I said, not 100% gonna happen with 3 inches of ice, but if the models are saying it, there is always a possibility. But that's pretty much all that I wanted to say there in terms for our snowfall there. I do want to go on and show out the rest, because not only do we have to watch out in terms of snow, sleet, in terms, freezing rain as well, but also for our temperatures as well. If we want to move to that right now, you can see right here, 7 o'clock in the morning on the 27th. What does that say right there? 4 degrees. Yes, 4 degrees. Right there for Columbia. You see 10 degrees up there near Spartanburg. You see 6 degrees over there near Florence. 16 in Walterboro. 22 in Charleston. And so you might be asking, well, is this wind chills? No, these are actual temperatures. This is not wind chill values. Wind chill values can actually make this even worse. Wind chill values can make this even worse. And so this is the 27th. This is going into next week, Tuesday. So this is going into next week, Tuesday. If we go on back real quick and we go on and go back to the GFS real quick and go back on, not the CFS, the GFS real quick. And we can go on and look at our temperatures on the surface. And we're going to go back to wind chills as well. And if we move on down here over into the southeast again. And this is wind chills again, not actual temperatures. But you see wind chills down all the way down, near 7, near 13 or ish or so. And then, you just see those wind chills die all the way down right here. This right here, this is Wednesday morning right here. Wind chills, I mean, I see negatives throughout here. I see, 0 degrees. I see 1 degree. I see 17 degrees in terms of wind chills near Charleston. I see 12 over there near Myrtle Beach. And so this is all for next week. After that snowfall and that ice has moved off, we're seeing negatives in terms of wind chills. The last time that South Carolina has seen, negatives, I haven't seen it, and I haven't checked. But I will check and see if this continues as we go into tomorrow. And the models still show negatives. that I'll go on and talk about it, and I'll go on and see what happens and see when's the last time we've seen it. But for right now, it looks like that a frigid cold start going into next week will happen. And not only do you have to watch out just for those potentially record breaking temperatures, but even after it and before it. I mean, going into Saturday and Sunday, wind chills down near 10. We may even see some high temperatures that might not even reach above freezing. Meaning, what do I mean by that? I pretty much just mean, for example, right here, you just saw for this good little period right here, we did not see any sort of above freezing temperature, just 20. So there's a possibility, like I always talk about. For example, when I talk about the Philadelphia forecast, I always say, "Wow, you guys are never gonna get, above freezing. You might as well just keep the coat on you at all times because it seems like that's what's going to happen." Well, looks like it can happen with us as well, as temperatures might not even get above freezing at all for high temperatures. So, like I said, a frigid, cold weekend. But like I said, that's all that I have to say there. Let's talk about rainfall just for after this system is gone, not temperatures or anything like that. Just after that system is gone, though, looks like we may have, I know, another potential shot for some sort of winter weather as you go into February, but that's 200 plus hours out, so can't really talk about that too much. It brings in a good amount of rainfall, though. That could definitely help out with our drought for sure. So I'll be watching that as you go into early February, and then we remain dry for the next couple of days going into February. So that's about all that I have in terms for our long-term future. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. I'm just gonna say right now, there is a lot. There is a lot of chats in here tonight. I'm going to still read all of them, but if I skim by it kind of quickly, I'm just trying to get through them. There's just a whole lot of them tonight. Just a whole lot. So we're just going to go on and go through them real quick. Trail says, greetings everyone, greetings to you. Freezing. It is indeed freezing. Right now, even at my house, it's around 31 degrees. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day and staying warm. I am. Thank you so much for that. My Aunt Lewis says, good evening, everyone. I pray that everyone has had a blessed day. Well, thank you so much for that. I am. She also says, today in Georgetown, it was sunny and cold. Same thing at my house. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. Right now, we have around a good 48 people that have tuned in tonight, and we only have 10 likes. Yes, you heard that correctly. 48 people have tuned in tonight, yet we only have 10 likes. If you are a part of that 38 that have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. Continue our way down. He also says currently it's 34 degrees here in Moncks Corner and clear. Right now it's already below freezing at my house according to my older weather station. My newer one right now says around 32. So yeah, pretty much both already at around below freezing-ish or so. He also says pray that everyone had a great day and stayed warm. Maya Lewis says our high today was 50 degrees. My high temperature today was around 52, 53-ish or so. Gabe's Nature Home says, I see the snow potential according to the latest run of the GFS model. I see that the upstate could see 25 inches of snow in some parts. I saw that. We just talked about it. Like I said, we're not going to get our hopes up just in case it does fail. But if it's there, I say it all the time. If it says it on the models, it's possible. It's possible. It is all possible. It is all possible. So, still keep that hope up. But, like I said, I've seen a lot of people, saying that and they think that it's probably going to take a downtrend afterwards. Mr. Oliver says, good evening. People are talking crazy about this weather. I'm very interested in hearing your forecast just to give us some good news. And shame Berkeley Electric. Well, I'm sure we will be hearing a lot of stuff about Berkeley Electric. A lot of stuff about Berkeley Electric as we go throughout this weekend going into next week, because I know they are going to be laughing at these temperatures that we're about to get. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, unfortunately. My nana says, hello, Jay, and all a nice day. I got a few rays in spite of the chilly air. Well, that's great. Great to hear that. And then Maya Lula says in Georgetown we are looking for some extremely bad weather. Well, I'm glad that y'all are at least being prepared for it. At least what I say is that everyone should be prepared for stuff like this to happen and not running around panicking. So that's another reason why if you need to go on and start making preparations now, go on and do so. Prepare like you're going to be without power for days, especially if you're in the ice sector. Prepare like you're not going to be able to go anywhere and you need to get stuff done. Prepare for all of that for this weekend. You need to prepare for all of that just in case if worse comes to worse. The Mr. Chris says, according to what I've been watching today, the GFS and Euro have come in agreement. For now, I mean, yeah, they both show winter weather, but I think that the GFS shows more of a snow scenario. The Euro shows more of an ice scenario. Viking Dog says, viewing from Plain City, Ohio, 15 degrees but feels like 6. Yes, it is cold up here. Well, I'm glad to see you here tonight. I'm glad that you are here from Plain City, Ohio. As we continue our way down, Thad says, good evening, Jessica. I'm loving the artwork. It was a beautiful day in Central Texas. Well, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. Major winter storms looking more possible for this little intro that I have here. Gabe's Nature Home says, yes, kind of the Euro is still showing for ice, well, for me, while the GFS is still showing snow. And then, doesn't look good for us this weekend. Wrap up, everyone. Absolutely. Thad says the temperature got up to around 57 degrees. I was out treating it like t-shirt weather. Well, I probably would not have. Just me personally, because I do not like the cold at all. Do not like the cold. But you're definitely stronger than me, because I definitely would have had to have something on. And then as we continue down, Thad says, as I am to understand, the weather over the coming days could get a little dicey. We're expecting a wintry mix of rain and sleet. Not looking forward to that. Make sure you get extra bottles of water. Absolutely. Says, yes, ice is a big issue. It can knock power out for at least a week. Thad says, if you rely on external heating systems, make sure you get hold on. The kerosene. I hope I said that. I probably botched that so bad. But you know what? If you know what he's talking about, you know what he's talking about. Wood or anything you need to make sure they are operational. It's always better to have and not need than to need and not have. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to go on and pin that real quick. I'm going to go on and pin that. So you go on and put that up at the top. And then maybe you need batteries for flashlights, fill those bathtubs up, bring pets inside, cover your outdoor pipes. If you have pipes that touch outer walls, make sure to drip them, have open cabinets, all that kind of stuff. And please check on your elderly neighbors to your left and right, make sure that they're safe and have the provisions they need to make it through. Absolutely agree with everything that you just said. And then my Aunt Louis says, nephew, my grandson made it to Philadelphia, and he and the family coming from Tampa, Florida, did not expect Philly to be so cold. They went out to buy some warm clothes. Well, that's Philadelphia for you. I mean, all you have to do is ask my cousin Cheryl about it, because she's not here tonight. Not that I see of, but, or she might just be here but not typing anything. But, all you gotta do is ask her about it. And we're almost done. We're almost done. Just a couple more chats, and then we'll go in and talk about the 4 areas outside of South Carolina. Mr. Chris says, I'm preparing the best we can with what we have. Then Maya Lewis says, that is what I wanted to know. What is the model saying about Georgetown? Well, like I said, it's still going to be a bit far out, but for Georgetown, probably saying good amount of ice. I'm not, in terms of snowfall, it matters on the model. GFS may have some snowfall over there, like a little trace for some snow, but I think it's mainly going to be that ice threat for you. We can even go in and check after this. Mr. Chris says the wife and I live in an older mobile home, so we should be okay. And then that says currently 54 here. And then just recheck the temperature here in Moncks Corner, and it's around 33 degrees. And that's all. Probably the most that I've ever had to read inside of a chat. But we've made it through it, so we are done there. I'll come back at the end to see if we have anything else going on. But I did want to go back out and check Georgetown real quick, since my little act for it. If you go on over into the total snowfall amounts, I mean, like I said, the GFS shows a good amount, for sure. It definitely shows a good amount. You're trying to get towards that 4 to 6-ish inches right there of snowfall, but ice good amount of ice potentially. We saw like potentially up to around an inch over there near Myrtle Beach. If we go on over here towards the GFS and go and look at the ice, the total freezing rain accumulations here, for the most part, like I said, we go in and push this forward, shows around like a good half inch, maybe a bit more. And so, I think that is about all that we have here. So let's go ahead and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations? What are you talking about? I thought this was just a South Carolina only channel. Well, it's not. We're going to talk about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, and because they tune in almost nightly, we go on to give them their forecast. And even though their South Carolina is not even the location that they stay in, they still show just as much as support. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first. And you were right earlier at that about talking about how y'all had a chance for some winter weather with low temperatures tonight at 54, high temperatures tomorrow at around 70, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 54. In terms for your chance of rainfall, you do have a chance of showers tonight. Patchy fog will also be in the question as well for tonight. But after that, that's about it. Severe weather for you, not expected at this time. I guess if you count winter weather as severe weather, you might count that. But for the most part, in terms of actual thunderstorm activity, you look good there. Excessive rainfall, same thing. We're not seeing anything there as well. So what's going on in terms of your future? Well, it looks like right now that you will see some chance for some more rainfall on Friday night, Saturday, and then Saturday night, a chance of rain or freezing rain before midnight, gusts as high as 25 miles per hour. And so all of that will be possible. So definitely a chance of freezing rain. It will be kind of just like a rain/freezing rain mix, but then it will just turn straight into freezing rain if it is to occur at that 40% chance. But again, that's going around like Saturday night-ish or so. Then for Raleigh, you have low temperatures tonight at 20, high temperatures tomorrow at around 48, and then low temperatures tomorrow night around 36. Precipitation not expected at this time. In terms for your severe weather, excessive rainfall, nothing expected for you. For your future, it looks like that you will definitely be cooling down. Friday, wintry mix is likely with snow, free rain, all that kind of stuff. Friday night, you will see some snow. Saturday, you'll see some snow. Saturday night, you'll see some snow. Your low temperature on Saturday night will be 3 degrees. Yes, I'm not lying with you. Your low temperature will be in the single digits, around like 3-ish or so. So it's going to be getting cold, or at least seems like it's going to be around 3, or that might actually be your wind chill. No, your wind chill's at around like in the single digits, around like 3-ish or so degrees. Your actual low temperature will be at around 18-ish or so. Excuse me for that. That was probably something that I probably need to mention. But still, wind chills will definitely be down low. But like I said, snowfall as you go all the way throughout, from Friday night going to Saturday night as well seemed like to be your main thing. Rainfall Thursday night, Friday. Then as we move on, let's go and talk about Philadelphia with low temperatures tonight at around 11. High temperatures tomorrow at 36. And low temperatures tomorrow night at around 31. In terms for your future, as there's no severe weather or excessive rainfall, snow is likely on Saturday night. You will see snow on Sunday. And for example, your low temperatures on Sunday night will be 10 degrees. Your low temperature on Saturday night will be 13. And so snowfall definitely will be a possibility Saturday night going into Monday. And then finally, the final area being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 36, high temperatures tomorrow at around 57, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 31. Precipitation not expected at this time. Same thing with severe weather and excessive rainfall. Thursday night, chance of rain. Friday, you'll see a little wintry mix of snow and freezing rain. Friday night, snowfall. Saturday, snowfall. Saturday night, snowfall. And actually, the funniest thing about it, your low temperature for Saturday night, we were just talking about it with Raleigh, is actually 3 degrees. It is actually 3 degrees. I'm not even joking with you. I did not set that up beforehand. That is actually your low temperature. 3 degrees-ish or so for you on Saturday night. So it will be almost 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Almost 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's go on now and talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise. Multiple Clipper systems will bring cold temperatures and enhance that lake effect snow downwind of the Great Lakes. An Arctic blast will bring frigid temperatures accompanied with gusty winds that may lead to dangerous wind chills beginning in the northern plains Thursday before expanding to the south and the east. An expansive winter storm will start on Friday in the southern Rockies / the plains and in the mid-south and will continue its way east on Saturday, Sunday, impacting the southeast. We also will see some dense fog over there inside of California. We will have some extreme cold warnings going on up there inside of the northern parts with wind chills as low as 55 degrees below zero. Yes, 55 degrees below zero up there in northern North Dakota and northern Minnesota. So it's going to be extremely cold, like extremely, extremely cold, not only because of that, but also because of those wind gusts as well. But I think that is all here that I can see. So let's go and check out the chat one more time. I don't see anything else. Mr. Chris said, everyone please stay safe and warm and hydrated. Going to get cold, it will. And, like I said, do not forget about tonight. I know we have all of this snow talk coming, but do not forget about tonight. Tonight's still going to be a very cold night as well. Now, seems like this will most likely be one of the last night, if not probably the last nights to where we have freezing temperatures, like Wednesday night, 35-ish, go 40, Thursday night going into the 40s for lows, and then we'll start seeing those temperatures drop down. So, that's what we're looking like there. And I think that is about all that I have to say here. So, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now, we've had around a good 60 people that have tuned in tonight, and we only have 11 likes. So if you are a part of that group of 49 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. Please, if anybody has not hit the subscribe button yet, go on and do so, because I do not like that number at the bottom part of my screen right now. So please, if anybody can just hit that subscribe button, just please, because those 3 numbers right there, I do not like that at all. But that is for the subscribers, and then share with your friends, family members, acquaintances, even people that you don't even like, because it helps the channel out, and you can help them out by giving them some free weather. We were here for a long time tonight. We were here for 42 minutes-ish or so, one of the longest nights in a long time, so I'm going to let everybody go. Thank you to everybody who stayed the entire time. If you stayed the entire time, let me go in and give you a round of applause real quick, because you definitely do deserve that for being here the entire time. Let me go and give you a round of applause real quick. So thank you to whoever that was. And top fans of the night for tonight, we had a lot. I feel like that. I think Mr. Chris was still at that number 1 spot. My Aunt Lou was at number 2. And then I believe, if I go and scroll my way down, I think Thad was number 3. So those are the 3 for the night for tonight. So that's about it. So I will be back tomorrow. Make sure that you tune back in tomorrow for your Wednesday morning forecast update. Tomorrow evening we'll be halfway through the week, so that's something good to look at. But after that, we will just continue to talk about the snow threat. Make sure you tune back in tomorrow evening as well, as we talk more about this snow threat. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and I will be back tomorrow morning. Hit those 2 buttons before you leave.